nobody's in here, but this is just a test anyway. Something I'm thinking about making a routine thing, depending on how well it takes off, depending on how well tonight goes. Doing some Facebook videos, maybe eventually doing YouTube, something I've been interested in for a while. After that little finishing video I did on that maple burl the other night, decided what the heck, let's spend a little money and try to get into this. I bought me a good ring lamp off of Amazon. It has a phone mount on it that I can mount up above my lathe, and we're gonna see how it does tonight. So, like I said, nobody's here yet, but I'm gonna act like I had people here. Forgive me for being a little nasally tonight. I don't know if it's allergies or the fact that at work they're doing drywall and insulation right now. So I've been a little stuffy here lately, so I apologize for that. I'm gonna be sniffling all night too. Not much I can do about it. Again, I apologize in advance. But let's get away from there and let's get to making a pen. So tonight I have a maple burl, I believe it is. I believe it's maple. It looks like maple. Maple burl hybrid with some pink and white resin in it. And I got this from John Greco at Jolly Roger Blanks. I bought this last year at the Mid-Atlantic Pen Turners Expo, and it's taken me till after this year's, which was just this past weekend, for me to finally get it up on a lathe. I did one of his blanks a week or two ago. It was a blue greenish white resin with a maple burl hybrid. I threw that on a silver cigar. It came out beautiful, guys. If you haven't seen it yet on my Facebook page, go check it out. It's on all my pen turning groups, Pen Turning 2.0. I actually did a CA finish on that one, believe it or not. I hate doing CA finishes. You guys will learn that about me real fast. But on hybrids, you kind of have to. Otherwise, eventually, even though it's a stabilized burl, it's going to start drawing in a little bit of moisture, and I don't want the burl and the resin separating. The only way to avoid that is to seal it with CA. But on that cigar I did there a week or so ago, I'd watched a video by Jason Rose down at Speakeasy Pen Emporium, and he did a real simple CA finish, and it straightened out a lot of my issues with it. I went out to the shop like 2 nights later. I rewatched his live, make sure I had it all down, and I threw a CA finish on that hybrid cigar, and quite honestly it was the easiest and the best CA finish I'd ever done. So thank you very much, Jason Rose at Speakeasy. I might be a little more tempted to do CAs and hybrids now. I know what I was doing wrong and got it fixed. So anyway, enough talk. Let's get to doing some turning. I've got this tubed for a Trimline, which is very similar to a Slimline. The only difference with the Trimline is the center band is a little bigger, and it lets me leave a little more meat on the blank than a normal Slimline would, and I just think they look better. Overall length and everything, it's going to be exactly the same as a Slimline, same ink refill, all that stuff. So yep, let's get it going. I've got the cap mounted up on the lathe in between bushings. I am using a pen mandrel. I do not have good enough live and dead centers yet to to go to true turn between bushings, but the mandrel seems to work for me fairly well so long as I only do one tube at a time. Technically I can do 2 tubes on a pen mandrel, but I just prefer to do one at a time. So that's how we're going to do this one tonight. But let's get going here. Also, with this being the first time, I don't know if I have my phone too close to the lathe, so if the lathe sounds a little loud, I apologize. It's something I will tweak as I continue to do these. So let's get started. Tailstock tightened down. Pull rest in place. We are turning. I am at the high speed on this lathe, or the high belt, and I am turning at full bore, which is 3220. I am using a round carbide. Get a little closer. Apologies if the camera just shook. My ball cap hit it. Let me turn my ball cap around backwards. If anybody does happen to pop in, you have any questions, I do have a tablet off to the side with the chat on it, as I cannot see the phone as it's above my head. If I know the answer to the question, I will answer it for you. If I don't, I will direct you to somebody who does. Thinner on one side than the other, so let's try to get this evened out. Right now I'm just trying to get it down the round. Trying to resist the urge to watch my tablet. It looks like it's about 10 seconds behind where I'm actually at. This blank is actually a little on the chippy side. Which is odd, because the other blank I did from this gentleman the other day, it was not chippy at all. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Mostly round. I got a big flat right there. What am I getting chippy at? I don't see anything chipping out. So we'll keep trying. If it keeps going, then I'll take my cutter off the chisel and give it a quick hit at the diamond stone. Maybe it's just because it was drilled a little off center and that flat was still hitting it. Or maybe I was a hair loose on my chisel. Because it doesn't seem to be doing it now. Okay, so I'm fairly round on there now. Start working down towards my bushings. This is the cap. This end's going to be the cap. This end's going to be towards the center band. So the burl's kind of more towards the center of this pin than it is on the ends. Sorry, I bumped the thing again on my head. Real odd not having the radio on in the background. But from what I've heard of Facebook and YouTube, they wouldn't let that fly, so something I'll just have to get used to. Normally I have some sort of rock and roll going. Fairly close to my bushings, but I want a little more. This is still pretty fat for a trim line. I got maybe a heavy 1/8 to the top bushing. So I'm way fat in the middle still. I don't know how other people do it, but normally I'll get to my bushings first. And then I'll kind of shape the rest of it out wherever I feel like it at. Good place on that side. It's looking good. Part of my problem there was I was trying to work uphill instead of downhill. You always turn downhill, even though you're going to see me turn uphill quite a bit. It's a bad habit I got into when I first started. It's being a pain in the neck to try to brake. I'm getting kind of close there. I'm going to grab my calipers. I don't remember where I set them at. Did a couple trim lines the other night, so it's still set to one of them. I just want to see where I'm at. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to take one final pass across there. I can feel a few tool marks. Not quite at that upper bushing. Let's pull a real light scrape across there, try to get rid of some of the marks. Oh yeah. That there's good. Now we'll get the sanding. Give me 1 second, I was unprepared. I did not have my sandpaper or any of that stuff ready, guys. 1 second. Again, this is stuff that as I go, I'll learn to have ready in the future from now on, so I appreciate you bearing with me. Unfortunately, I do not have dust collection in my shop. At the moment, it's not even a possibility in the future. Unfortunately, the garage I'm in, the electrical capabilities would not permit it, so I just have to deal with it. There. I always try to clean all my dust and stuff off before I do finish work, just because I don't want that crud getting down into my water. Did we get somebody in here? Hi, William. How you doing tonight? You missed all the spiel at the beginning. This is my first ever attempt at this, so please forgive me if this isn't a highly polished video. I'm trying to get the hang of this. Getting ready to polish up a nice maple burl with some resin, a nice little hybrid. So I'm not too bad tonight, William. Back's bothering me a little bit. I took a little tumble today at work, but nothing major. Alright. So I dropped my lathe all the way down to as slow as it'll go on the high belt, which is 920. For dry sanding, that's probably a little high, but I don't like changing belts, so I'm just going to go very light touch. Very light touch. Normally with the resin I would wet sand, but I did not do the stabilization on this blank, so I don't know how well they got that wood stabilized. I don't want to introduce any moisture to it that'll screw up my CA finish later. So I'm going to dry sand. I'm starting out at 600. Probably need to drop to 4. I can feel a few bumps on there. I'll give it a minute, see if 600 gets I got some of it. Yeah, I'm an electrician, William. I was, me and my apprentice were pulling some wire today, and we had one that was being stubborn, so I wrapped my pull string around a pipe and yanked on it a little too hard and broke the string and fell on my butt. Luckily, a fresh sheet of drywall was there to catch me. That doesn't feel too bad. Go vertical with the grain, or horizontal. Even though with it being burl, it probably really doesn't matter too much. Make sure I get right down on the bushing since it's resin up there. Before I start doing CA, I am going to clean the blank off. I'm out of denatured alcohol at the moment, so we're gonna have to deal with mineral spirits tonight. Should be alright. Oh, look at that. Look at that burl pop. I love burls. Looks pretty decent. Like clean it off first with the lathe off and let it spin for a little minute or so. Wipe it off with a dry section. I'll turn it up full blast, let that dry off for a minute. Unfortunately, the mineral spirits does not dry quickly as DNA. Ain't that the truth? Yeah, we wouldn't have had drywall up. I would have went in between studs and probably would have cracked my head on concrete. So. Second to dry, I'm grabbing my CA glue. Normally I use a hodgepodge of CA glue, but at the Mid-Atlantic show with Jason Rose, he talked me into going straight mercury. So we're going to try that tonight, see how it does. Flex for the first several coats, and then probably a coat of medium after that. We'll see how it looks. I'm used to just doing all thin. This will be the first I've ever used flex. So we'll see how it goes. Yep, that's dry. So I'm going to do a little bit on my paper towel. A couple coats done. Or a couple passes. That was my problem with CA finishes before, was I would sit there and I would just every coat for like 15-20 seconds, and basically I was wearing all my CA right back off. So I'm gonna let that dry 15-20 seconds. I am not a fan of activator on my very first one. That way, if there is any moisture in there, it doesn't cause blooms or anything like that. So So I'm just going to let that dry naturally. And you can see already that's got a nice shine on that. Let me stop the lathe. I wonder if maybe my DNA or my mineral spirits wasn't all flashed off, because that is pretty blotchy. Hopefully it's not my paper towel. We'll try another coat or so, and problem persists, I may sand it back down real quick and restart the shindig. Yeah, it should be close to dry. This will be number 3. Couple back and forth and we're done. If I get one more coat on there, I'll start using activator to speed this up. I just don't like activator on the first couple coats. That way if it decides it's going to, the first couple coats is where most of your problems are going to end up being. If you use too much activator, you're too close with it, you can get bubbling, haze, and I would just rather not have to sand this thing down after 10 coats thin and have to redo it. That's 4. Put the activator on it. Before we get too far out, stop it, see if I still have that problem or not. Yeah, kinda. Doesn't look like it's quite as bad, but there are spots on there it looks like it doesn't have any. Oh well, new CA, there's no way to know what the problem is, so I'm just going to finish it out and see how it goes. And if I have to redo it later, I'll redo it. So that's coat number 5. Start the activator. Coat number 5. Coat number 6. I'll probably do 2 more of thin and maybe one or 2 of medium. Hey Tim, how you doing, buddy? Ain't seen or heard from you in a long time. How are you? Just sorry to hear about you guys losing Cammie over there. I couldn't believe she was 14 years old. Alright, that's on there. It's activated. Let's do a little bit of medium. And I just happened to think I did not put my glue bushings on. So I might have just ruined my bushings and the blank. I hope I didn't. The joys of being live. You get to see all the screw ups we make. Hopefully I can get lucky, they'll just snap off when I pull it off the mandrel. But my luck usually doesn't lean that way. With the thicker CA, I am not going to use... Yeah, I will. I will use activator. See how often I do CA finishes. I'm not even positive how to do them properly. If I remember Jason's video the other night, I think I am. But we'll find out. Minus CA. 7/4 and done. Yeah, let's see what we look like here. Now my coverage problem's fixed. Medium did that. Doesn't look too bad. I'm just scared I glued my bushings to the blank. But you know what? We'll find that out here in a little bit. So kind of got the orange peel effect on my glue, so a little bit of 600 grit. Still as slow as my lathe will go. I'm at 920 RPM. I'm just going to go real light on this. I want to go until feels nice and smooth. Not staying in one spot any too long. Always moving. That's starting to feel really good. Yeah, I think we're there. Some of the excess water off. Yeah, it feels pretty decent. Alright, let's do micro mesh. So I'm going to micro mesh my blank. According to Jason Rose, this is the other spot where I was screwing up so much. Was along with overworking the CA glue from the paper towel, I was overworking my micro mesh pads. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, I'm done. I was doing 35-40 seconds per, and found out that that's why I kept sanding through my finish. So the next pad, 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, done. Next pad, 1/1000, 2/1000, 3/1000, done. One 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, done. I'm also not doing as much pressure on the pad as I used to be. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, done. One 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, done. One 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, done. Okay, I'm on my last two pads now. I'm gonna go like 5 seconds on these, so just a little longer. I'm high enough grit now, I shouldn't have any possibility of going through the finish. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, done. Last pad, this should be the equivalent of about 12,000 grit. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, done. So that's all 12 of my micro mesh pads. That is not a horrible looking CA finish, but we're gonna make it shine even more. Let's get the CA out of the way. Let's break out the one step. A lot of people use Zona paper. A lot of people like Magic Juice. A lot of people like the car headlight restoration stuff. This is what I like. I started this when I very first started turning. You can get it from Penn State. Exotic Blanks is just a hair cheaper. I like buying from Exotic Blanks more than I do from straight from Penn State, just because they offer discounts, especially on pen kits. The more you buy, the more you save. Exotic Blanks, their customer service is a little bit better too, in my opinion. But that's just me. You use what you like to use and buy it from who you like to buy it from. My stuff's all caked. Oop. Oh, that just happened. So I got a hair more than I needed. And by a hair more, I mean I probably could finish 15, 20 pens with what I just shot all over the shop. So, like I said, it's live, folks. So obviously I'm not going to use all of this. Put a little bit on it up there, work it in. Clean section of the paper towel, buff everything else off. I'm generally going to do 2 to 3 of these. Yep, try to catch my towel there. Work that in, buff it off. Third coat, work it in, buff it off. And there we go. Now that's got a shine on it. So we are done with that part. Now the moment of truth. Are my bushings stuck on there? Loosen up my headstock, tailstock. Snapped right off. Doesn't look like it hurt to finish any. Nope, it came right off. Wow, I am pleasantly surprised. Hopefully that's got a good focus there. There we go. Look at the shine on that. That baby is like glass. So we'll put it over here with the kit. And we're going to rinse and repeat to the other side. So I remember where I set my other bushing. Right there it is. That way. Tighten up tailstock. Hey Meg, how you doing? Something new I'm trying. I bought a little light and mount off Amazon, so tonight's just a test run to see how it goes. Try to work out some kinks. My little sassy frass watching with you. Hi, Sassy. Alright. Lathe back up to full blast. 3220. A small flat there in the middle still. feel like I'm fairly round. This is going to be the bottom of the pin, or the body. Corner I'm working on now, this is going to be where the nib's at. I'm just going to start tapering this in. How's my volume? Yep, never mind. No one's on here right at the moment. Gonna check with my caliper, see how close I am to my other tube. I'm not even close. Still a little fat in the middle. So the cap I kind of made barrel shaped. Tried to make it symmetrical top and bottom. The bottom, or the body, for comfort and grip, it's going to be a little, the wide spot of my blank's going to be a little more up here. So I'm going to barrel out to about here, and then I'm going to start tapering down to my tip. I just find it fits better in most people's hands, shaped that way. Check my caliper, see where I'm at. I'm almost there. Got one spot right there, just a little hump. Trying to watch coming over that hump because that burl is much harder than the resin. So if I'm pushing too hard on the burl, as soon as I pop over to that resin side, my tool's wanting to take off on me. I don't want to put a big gouge there. And we're good. Take one last check, see where we're at on the bushings. Top one looks good. Bottom one, I can still get a little closer on. I apologize, I keep bumping the phone mount with my head. I promise I'll work out optimum height to not do that. That feels pretty good. So again, just like with the cap, I'm going to slow this thing all the way down. About 920. A little higher than I normally like to sand, but it'll be alright. You can sand at higher speeds, just less pressure. I don't know if you can see them right here.